Well, today's the day. It's Copper Coat Day, but it didn't come without issues. So Mark is over here. He and Hope, if any of you watch my Tim B at Sea channel, you might remember Hope. She was a friend of mine's daughter that I encouraged her to go to maritime school, and she's a marine engineer and actually works at our company. And she's a marine engineer, and she's sitting for her chief's license now. She's worked her way up past second already and done really well. But anyway, they worked yesterday after we had this 20 years of anti-fouling removed by the media blasting guy. And by the way, if anybody is in the New England area, this guy did a fantastic job, and he comes right over and tents everything up. He did a great thing. If you were looking for this, for a really good media blasting guy, I got the guy. I got a guy. Anyway, so we got the hull down, and we fared it, you know, we got it real smooth and everything was great. Then we had to put on 2 coats of Copper Coat's water-based what do they call it, ceramic epoxy barrier coat. So it's an epoxy, it's water-based, so it cures, it doesn't dry. And they say there's no pigment in it, so you can see some things like some of the blotchiness coming through here. Well, the problem was we got the first coat on, then we get and then we had to wait 4 hours. We got the second coat on, and everything was going well. And then Hope started. Her dad came down. He and I have been friends for 30 years, maybe even 35 years, and everything was great. And then Mark and I were sitting here literally watching paint dry. And then, even though it said there was only like a 5% chance of a little thunderstorm or something like that, all hell broke loose. And we quickly had this, well, I'll show you. I got a couple of rolls of this stuff, which is a 4 foot of plastic with tape on it. So we had the boat all lined up with tape, you know, with this stuff that you pull down. So you'd pull 4 feet of plastic down and tape it off to the sides to get the water to run off. And we did that. We had that all ready to go, but we didn't want to set it up because the wind would blow the plastic away. We didn't want the wind to blow the plastic into the hull. Well, anyway, it started raining, so we went around and zipped all this up, you know, unwrapped the plastic and taped it off. And then the wind started blowing, and oh my God, I wanted to cry. You can see where this morning I've done a little bit of sanding here on some of the high spots. This is where the plastic actually hit over here. This side doesn't look too bad to me. You can see these lines here, which are less than ideal, or as Ward Carroll would say, less awesome over here. On this side, there isn't a lot. I got up at 5 this morning and been sanding all through here. But this,
it should go away, Tim, after some more coats.
I'm hoping so. I'm really hoping. I'm hoping that's the case, especially because when that goes, not only will that fill in, but we also have to sand that again as well. So I'm really hoping that's the case. But I had sanded. I've gone through almost 2 batteries worth of sanding all in here. And like I say, I don't know if how it shows up or not, but it was pretty bad. And then you can see we had a host of bugs that landed on us. So I just tried to hit the high spots. But anyway, we have done this, and I think all in all, I'm thinking it's okay. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah. Today it looks a lot better than yesterday. We were worried yesterday.
Hey, and so if you guys don't remember Mark is a patron, and he reached out to me, and he went sailing with me and a friend of mine when we went from Rhode Island down to Norfolk, Virginia, offshore in Paquita. Then Mark bought a boat, and we actually made a little video together about that online. And like all good patrons, his support doesn't just stop at his monthly donation. He comes here and works. but anyway, so that's what we have going on. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, or maybe a little bit after 7, but we're gonna go. I've got all the copper coat ready to go here. And if you're wondering, this is about $3,200 worth of copper coat. This was their epoxy over here, the barrier coat that we had to put down. And my brother is coming. He says he doesn't want to paint, but he wants to be the mixer. So he's going to be mixing. So it's basically one of these to one of these, and then you can see there's four bags of each one of these of this basically talcum powder that's copper. Stuff weighs a ton, not literal ton. The hardest thing for this whole thing was to source these. They don't want you to use anything bigger than a 1/8 inch nap, so like a mohair. And I couldn't find them anywhere locally. Luckily, I was able to get a bunch from Amazon there, and then I got a few of the smaller 9-inch ones from the West System ones at Defender. And if any of you guys know West System or Defender, you'll know that you could probably finance someone's college tuition with a couple of these. Anyway, so why do I have these over here? So those kits over there, it's 2 to 1. So 2 of the resin to 1 of the hardener. And once you get a coat on, you have to wait 4 hours to put the second coat on. And then you have within 24 hours to get the copper coat on. So what I did was, since you normally would get one bucket that has like a third in there, and you pour it into the other bucket and you mix it all up, what I did was I got a little bit from you know, a couple batches that we made, and measured out the different quantities here, so that when we go to move it, we're going to have all these squares where the stands are. So I'm going to have to mix up one batch and get that on. Then when that's done, I'll get the second batch on, mixed up and put on. And then when that's done, then we'll sand that, and then I'll have to do the same thing with a copper coat kit as well. And so the idea is that we're going to put on hopefully between 4 and 6 coats of this stuff. They've given me 16 kits. I pulled one kit out, except for one of these, just because it's too heavy. I don't want to mess with it yet. But I'm going to try to get this one, you know, this one brick, break it in half, and then break it in half again. So I've got 4 different things, and then try to do a quarter of this and a quarter of that, just to do the spots. And that's, like, once again, that's, as Ward Carroll would say, that's less awesome than mixing a pre-measured kit. But the stuff is pretty expensive, and I don't know, and it would be a waste if I did that. And the other thing too is that if this goes wrong, I don't mean it goes wrong, but like if the copper coat works perfectly, except you can see that we're growing barnacles wherever the pads were, you know, that for holding up the stands, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if I just had to clean that area as opposed to the area of the whole boat. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. Oh, well, what I'm really hoping for is that everything will work perfectly. But so right now we're going to load up in the car and head over to a breakfast spot, and hopefully my brother will be here mixing. My friend, you guys have seen him before. My friend Jim, I think you may have seen, yeah, you've seen him before in a couple pictures from being in the Bahamas. Anyway, he might be here. And who else do we have coming? We have a couple more people too, but I don't know, it all depends on who shows up. So that's what we have going on. They say that the first coat, or the first 2 coats, look terrible, that it just looks blotchy and you're just like, oh my god, what have I done? They say by the 3rd coat it starts looking good, by the 4th coat it looks better. The funny part is that apparently when by the time you get the 4th coat on, it'll really have that copper or penny colored color to it. You know, the hull should be looking, you know, more this color. But after we wait 3 days and then, you know, move the stands and do everything again, and then wait 3 days again, then we have to sand everything to knock the top off to expose the copper, or what they call activate it. And that's, you know, so that the copper is exposed. And we'll know how good a job we did after the boat's been in the water for a while. Not only can we tell by how much growth is either grown or not grown, but we'll also know, because if the bottom turns green, a patina, then we know that the copper has been exposed and that's doing its job. If the bottom still looks copper penny colored, well, then we'll know that we didn't sand it well enough. So wish us luck. All right, that's it for now. So my brother is going to be the mix guy. He's going to be mixing all this up, and we're going to be rolling this out. And our whole thing, the plan I have, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but the plan I have is to, since I don't want the rollers to ever get dry, so instead of having us all roll one coat and waiting 20 to 30 minutes to roll the next, we're going to have one person start rolling, maybe another person cutting in or something like that, but we'll roll through, and then when if you start here and we get up to here, then maybe if it's ready where you can touch and it comes off on your glove, but it doesn't, but the glove pulls off and it's still sticky, but it's not stuck on the glove. When that's ready, we'll start the second person doing the second coat right behind the person, as long as that goes. And that way we can continue that through all the coats. So hopefully we'll get it right. Let you know how it goes. All right, so we got the first coat. You can see we started making a mistake by putting it a little heavy at first, but now they're supposed to be blotchy for the first couple coats. It's going on. We've got we want three kits per coat, and we just finished the first kit, and Jim is now starting the second kit. And the reason why we're not all rolling together is because I have this idea of staggering it. Once the stern starts to flash off and it's ready to go, Jim will continue around, the next person will come. By the time Jim gets to the stern, well, we might have 3 people painting all at once.
We have a dog chasing his tail situation.
Yes. Hey, don't. This is what the first coat has looked like, a little blotchy. We did a better job of coverage here. The first one we put on a little heavy, not by choice, but because we're learning. But it's coming on. Crystalita's going around here. Chris has been mixing up a storm. But now this actually this is 3 coats in. And you're saying, why is there 1 coat there and 3 coats there? It's because we've been staggering. So in other words, we got 20 minutes in, we came in and started putting another one. Jim is putting the 3rd coat in over here. So this is editing, Tim, and sometimes the way these things go, we have to kind of cut out the audio. And it's not because of any of us other than me. I am definitely the guilty party here in trying to keep everyone's spirits up and being a big fan of comedy. I don't know if you guys like dark, awful humor, terrible humor, but I'm a big fan of Kill Tony. Kill Tony's a podcast, and a lot of the things they have are not fit for my channel, let alone fit for the general public. So I had to kill it here so that everybody could enjoy working, and sorry for the interruption. All right, Chris, how'd we do? Do we got anything left over?
Just a little bit of alcohol. So
unusual, exactly. A Kitty Dukakis cocktail.
Just that one kit, a little bit here. I think we did a great cover.
And we got just enough to do our under the pads. This is wonderful. All right, let's go have a look. So 4 coats on the shaded side now. We've pulled the tape. Have to pull the tape before we do anything so that the tape doesn't get hardened on there. Everything's looking good. There's a couple spots where it might be a little high. Bugs and stuff like that might have gotten in here, run, drip, sag. But remember, we have to go, like, see right here, there's a couple things, not really a big deal in my book, because we have to sand all this to open up. You know, the reason why we have to sand it to activate the bottom is because right now the copper is encased, or encapsulated. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll get there. Encapsulated with the epoxy. So once it all hardens up, 3 days later, we sand the top, and that's breaking the top of the epoxy off, exposing the layer of copper to the water. So at least that's what we hope. But if you remember, this was the part that I was sanding all this morning, and it seems like it's filled in nicely. So I'm really happy with that. Crystalita did the bow thruster for us. Everything's looking beautiful. This guy's doing just the last bit over here. Jim has been going non-stop. The people in the cars over here, I kind of told them that they run the risk of getting paint on the car if they leave it there, and they said they didn't want paint on the car and they didn't leave. So here's what it is. But we got just finishing the last of it right here. This was 3 coats, and Jim is putting the 4th coat on right now. I think we got it pretty well done. So now we clean up.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, we're
We're over here.
I actually did almost to here.
Okay.
So from there down, you're good.
So everything's
I
set.
disagree. I don't know if it's well done. I think it's done.
Oh, funny guy. So look at these big monsters. These are the new solar panels that we have. And if you're looking at this, this is actually the back of the panel. This is called a bifacial solar panel. These are the fronts of the panel. So this is going to be skyward. This is backwards. And yeah, I don't think anything. I don't think there's nothing. I don't think it's worthless. You can't save it. It's going to harden anyway. But then the idea is that we put these up there, and if you see the backstays, when I put these in line with the boat, they should go from the backstay to the arch and the same distance out. So by putting these together, I should hopefully, if everything works out, we'll have a little shaded porch on the stern of the boat, and that will help for a number of reasons. It'll help as far as keeping the sun off of the new Highfield dinghy. It is a Hypalong dinghy anyway, but it's just as well that we keep sun off of it. And I want to put the two of them together with just close enough with a what do you call it, surgical cord in between them, so that expansion and contraction, they won't hit each other, but it will be sealed, and that will keep the rain from filling into the dinghy, which is another problem. If you remember, those who have been watching know I've had a problem with that in the past. And then the other thing is that I think it'd be pretty cool having that up there, having the you know, basically the shade from the solar panels up there. It might be a kind of a cool thing. Hope was saying, hey, you could get one of those hanging chairs, because this thing supports, you know, 700, 800 pounds. So you could have one of those hangy, what do they call, zero gravity chairs or whatever, that hang off of here. And I don't know, we could see. We'll see how it goes. Todo bien, mi amor?
Todo bien, perfecto.
Look at her. She hasn't stopped at all. She just keeps going. All right, so everybody's cleaning up now. I'm gonna get cleaned up and get the paint off my hands anyway, and then we'll go out and grab something to eat and maybe some little libation and celebrate a job well done. Well, the painting part is done. Now all we have to do is make sure those clouds don't turn bad. And if we can keep it, if we can get it dry, if we can keep it so that it cures enough so that we can put the plastic up here again and have the plastic touch without having it stick, we'll be all set. So that's the plan. All right, see ya. Well, it's the next morning. As you can see, I put up my dew barrier here. The idea is if it got dew and dripped down here, it would drip down here and not run down the paint. And if you think I'm being overcautious, then you haven't seen what other people have put on YouTube, where just a little bit of water from the dew goes down and messes the paint up. It's supposed to take 3 days. 3 days of curing. But as you can see, where this looks like this is all stuck here, this is just static. You just put a little bit of air there like that, and it lifts right off, so it's not stuck to it at all. It's curing really well, and I have the temptation to go and rip all this plastic off right now because it's been there for the night. Let me pull you underneath the thing here. If you can see this, it feels fine to me. I think we're almost, oops, sorry about that. I think we're almost ready to, yeah, see all this? It looks like it's really stuck here. It's not. It's just the wind blowing, the static electricity holding it over there. See, I've put a, this is the drain to the propane locker, and when the water comes down the deck, I'm supposed to have that locker tightened down, watertight, but I don't really mind that water flows there and out there normally, so I put a wick in there to keep it from wicking out. But yeah, as much as I want to rip all this plastic off, I can't really sand it yet today anyway. The only thing that I got going on today is I need to get this and put it in this hole. I've been waiting for this area because instead of putting it right directly to fiberglass, Make sure that you're seeing everything. Yeah, here we go. I wanted to put this up against the unsanded copper coat, so it has a nice barrier coat, and then the epoxy of the copper coat will act as a barrier coat too. 5200 that in. I've got a base plate came into Rick's, or it was headed for Rick's anyway, so that should be there today. So put that on with a seacock and a ball diverter valve on there, so that one way we can run salt water into the water maker, and if you flip it the other way, you can put a hose in a bucket of pickling solution and run that through as well. But I think today I really want to put these panels up there. I really want to do that. The problem is I don't know if you can see it, but the lift down there I don't think is, I think if we put the panels up there, we can't lift the boat up. You know, the lift isn't tall enough. It's just enough so that we can get by. Hopefully it's just enough. We're gonna find out if my calculations were wrong, but hopefully we'll be able, the lift will get by the arch, come over, back stays will be down. I'll move the topping lift over and all that, and then the lift will be over here, lift everything up, and I might be able to put these up there. I'm not sure, but I'd really like to put them up today just because I'm so excited about these, and they're going to make such a world of difference. But that's on the to-do list. I've put a LED light up here. You can see that I have it temporarily. I was just testing it. I have a key fob light switch, so that as we come up to with the dinghy at nighttime, you can hit the key fob and this will all light up. But I have to go. I've got all the Hans, my friend Hans, spliced in and solder sealed everything down below in the lazarette, but now I've got to take the wire. I could snake it through all the aluminum, and the wires from the solar panels, I could put them all through the aluminum pipes as well. And the manufacturer says you can do that. They say you drill a big hole on one end, put a snake up, and drill a hole on the other end, pull everything through, and it looks so nice when you do that. But I don't know, any of you structural engineers out there, maybe you'll be able to tell me whether I'm lost my mind or not. But I can't see why I spent all the extra money to get Schedule 80 and go from the 1 3/4 to the 2-inch aluminum, and then start drilling holes right where in what I would assume would be some of the weakest parts, or at least points of failure. You know, where you drill in and hide, and only for the sake of cosmetics. I keep telling people I'm not a yachty. I'm a tugboat guy. I'm interested more in how something works than how it looks. And Paquita is starting to look really, really beautiful again. And I hope that I don't mess it up with all my projects, but I don't want to put a big dollar arch up here, do everything right to make it all secure, and then weaken it up by putting holes in it. Oh, look who's sticking her head out. Buenos dias. Oh, she's getting ready. She's getting ready to do some more. She's getting ready to do some more work on the Brightwork. She's got the Brightwork handled. Anyway, that's it for today. Oh my God! I don't know if it's that I'm too tired, or maybe it's the wine, but I forgot to wish you all a happy 4th of July. You guys can celebrate. Hopefully, you'll have a good day. I think it's supposed to be good. In our area here, it's supposed to be beautiful weather and maybe possible 50% chance of rain from 9 o'clock on at night. But you're not here for a weather forecast. I'm celebrating, hopefully tomorrow I'll get enough done so I'll be able to celebrate my independence from having to bottom coat the boat every year, at least for the next 10 years, possibly 15 or 20. Wish me luck. Take care, you guys. Happy 4th of July.